Jamie, we need to have somebody in this position. So look out at that camera and tell the voters of this district that you're saying that we don't need to have somebody. I know you want a licensed person. I was there. We had one licensed person apply for this job. He did not fit this community, did not fit our needs. So we chose the other best candidate. We had 10 members there, members of the Community Education Board, the Panther Fieldhouse Board, administrators, other board members that were there. And it's really not that hard of a decision. We just we needed somebody in this spot. We have a medical leave. I would rather have somebody here than not. Tell that to the public that we don't need somebody in this spot. We do. I think Mr. Mutchall's been busy every day. We need somebody to take that role. And legally, we have to have somebody there. We are a district of, what's the cutoff? 1,000 people, 1,000 kids. We have to have somebody as a community ed person. We need to change the name of that and reach out to a neighboring district. It's not something that hasn't been done in the past. And just move forward. It's really not that hard. And it's for the best interests of our community.
So then do we change the salary as well? Because when we hired Matt, and it doesn't matter who we hired, say we hired anybody,
Mm-hmm.
we hired the person at the low end of a community ed director for a school our size. So if we cannot call him a director, a community ed director, do we need to change the salary? And I'm not, Jason, I'm not arguing with you. We need somebody, without a doubt. I don't think there's anybody that's saying that we don't need someone.
No, I did not say that.
Nor did I.
Nor did I.
But I just think that, I mean, I don't know, do we have to look at the salary as well?
My recommendation would be no, you don't have to. You can still call him a director of the field house. You've still agreed upon it, and it's still within our budget, and he's still doing the job as if he's going to continue on a day-to-day basis. And so you're not violating anything by giving him the same contract, by amending his contract. I checked with Jennifer. This is exactly, we can do this. This is legal. We just amend his contract. We hire somebody here on a very, very part-time basis. We're still within our budget, and we get through the year and see what happens.
I realize we're still within our budget.
This can work.
I realize we're still within our budget, but is his salary going to be compatible with the other two? If they're all going to have the same title, that's I think a question. I mean, we want to make sure that we do this.
Which is why you call him a director of the field house, so that he does have that director title.
And does he have to have licensure for that?
You do not have to have a licensure for that.
So I'm not gonna ask anybody to look into a camera and to talk to the public. But one of the things that I guess I'm feeling about the salary is, like Kevin said, the $55,192 salary that was offered was with the understanding that we would have a community education director. Okay, now at this point we do not have a community education licensed person or are able to get a variance. With that being said, changing the position to a coordinator of community education, I understand changing a title, but that person, the title, would then be, in a sense, equal to the two current coordinators that we have. And those two current coordinators that we have, we just completed contract negotiations with them at about $47,000 and $48,000. So to have another coordinator that we're bringing on with a salary of $55,192 with a title of director of Fieldhouse, are we saying that that difference between 48,000 and 55,000 is because of being a director of the Fieldhouse? I'm just trying to understand, if we continue to have the 55,192 salary, what additional responsibilities does that coordinator position have over the other two coordinator positions? And like I said, I'm not going to ask anybody to look into a camera and justify the
Jamie, I'll just add
thing.
a couple of comments. When we worked on the contract for this position, we definitely took into consideration that he was not licensed, and came up with that 55,000. When you compare it to what a community ed licensed director would be making, you'd be lucky to hire somebody for around that $80,000 mark for a licensed person. So we took that all into consideration. Regarding the Panther Fieldhouse director, comparing it to the other two coordinator positions that we have, definitely a lot more responsibilities that go along with that job, and we have the job descriptions that go with each of those. This person is in charge of hiring, possibly firing, if that would be the case, of coordinating. He oversees those two. The PAC coordinator does oversee some of her help that she has. The youth coordinator oversees a few of the coaches, those type of things, but he's overseeing all of that. Kind of like an athletic director. He's in charge, he oversees all those coaches. So he definitely, this position, not he, she, or whatever, this position has a lot more responsibility as being Panther Fieldhouse director. They're responsible for the budget. Neither of those other two positions do anything with the budgets. They have to sit down with me, go through those budgets, determine those programmings, work directly on that booklet. So definitely, you know, if we're saying the other two came up to about 48,000, for the additional 6,000-7,000 that he's getting, definitely that's the compensation needed if we're not underpaying what that position would be.
Okay. Was it factored in, or I suppose it wasn't, since we would be talking about making this a coordinator position, the individual contracts that we did at $47,000 or $48,000 were coordinator positions, but they were also people that had previous experience within those roles,
But
versus
also no education.
education for being able
This-
to do the position, but not a license or
Right.
anything like
This person
that.
has a 4-year degree.
Right.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
You know, Chris mentioned it before, very similar to when we hired Alicia for the early childhood position. She started as a director. When she completed her licensure, or she started as a coordinator, when she completed the license, she got additional pay for that, and that was addressed in the contract. We didn't put anything like this in the contract because we knew it's a temporary position. You know, the 10-month or wherever we're at now, 9-month position. But so Alicia was hired as ECFE coordinator until she got that correct licensure, and that's when her job title changed, and that's when we adjusted the job description to match coordinator to director, depending on who was in that position.
Is there any pay equity concerns or issues that we may have with having a male coordinator getting more than female coordinators?
Nope, I don't see any right now. Different position, the position is valued at more points versus their points. If you'd have a male person in one of those other two coordinator positions, that would get more, then you'd have an equity issue.
So this one's going to still be valued at more even with a title change?
You know, I'd
Or-
have to look at that.
Because I would think that this coordinator position would be on the same level as those coordinators, because it's not just about title, it's
But they're also in charge of the field house. That's the difference.
And this is what Bosa told me to do, and his exact words to me were, "Pay him what you want." You know, you'll be okay.
I would. There's a lot of people that I would like to be able to pay a lot more than we do. Believe me.
Understand.
But
We're
money
just
is an issue,
trying
and
to-
we need to, make sure that the public knows that we are doing the best job with the best information. With what Michelle just gave me for information, that didn't know a lot of what she told me. I didn't know a lot about that. So that helps me a little bit. Because I'm not a
Just
community
give
ed
us a
director.
call. Just give us a call, Donna, and we would explain that to you. I've tried to give you as much information as possible. We're trying to make this right. I'm trying to do everything that you want me to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Item F, job descriptions, discussion possible. Action item enclosure number 5. Superintendent Sanju will provide information on the following job descriptions: social worker, cultural liaison, Panther Pals, chess club advisor, and interpreter.
Basically, these job descriptions, if you look at it, the social worker, and we've put the job descriptions in front of all of you in years past, but I don't remember exactly what you guys did with the job descriptions. And so what we put on here is discussion, possible action. The social worker job description, we realized came over. We had a social worker, and if you remember, that person is now our employee. And so we looked and said, we don't have a job description for this person. And so we took that from Southwest West Central and formatted it and created a job description for a social worker. The cultural liaison, the Panther Pals, and the chess club advisor, those are new positions that we're going through the negotiations process. These all came in the creation through the Stevens Seminary dollars, right? But that was the whole intent of some of those initiatives, is to be able to see if they can become lasting positions, and through the negotiations process, they are now in the contract and they are lasting positions. So they're in front of you. And then the last one, we just updated the interpreter job descriptions because it had some language, if I remember correctly. It's still talking about Helen Baker and that kind of thing. And so we put that one in front of you. I don't know if you're wanting to do similar to like a policy, where here's the first reading of the job description, and then you come back after a month to say if there were any changes and things like that. To be honest with you, I don't remember the last time we did job descriptions. We try to stay up to date with job descriptions as best that we can, and so that's why they're in front of you at this time.
We might have a few more that say Helen Baker on them too.
But we may just right.
Okay. Questions, comments, discussion? Is the board wanting to take action or table it until next meeting so that John is able to look at it and comment as well? Any comments?
Can they be, like, if during the course of the year you start reading something and you notice where it might say Helen Baker in there, any time in the year we can say,
We are going to
notice
do
the Helen
that.
Baker, so we can
Yeah.
take that out at any
Yeah,
time.
we figured that we would be able to do those types of things. But like I said, the first 4 there are new, and that's why they're in front of you. But the interpreter one is pretty much, and so we just included it. But I think with the other ones, I think you're right. I don't think we need to come to the board in front of you to change, unless there's major changes, but to change
Just to
Helen
clean it
Baker.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just to-
But like I said, we wanted to put these in front of you because they are new positions and they're here, they're happening. But I know in the past the board has always approved job descriptions. I just don't remember exactly how you did it. Do any of you, or maybe?
I think it was a few years back that they were all sent out, and we had the opportunity to look at them. And if we had questions, we could bring it up at the meeting. And if there weren't any questions, I think we just approved it.
And we talked a little bit. I mean, maybe the job descriptions, it's something that we kind of treat as policies. You just always are looking at them and making sure that they're updated and they're reflecting on exactly what they're doing. So this might be something that, every other month or so, we've got some other job descriptions on there that just are being looked at through the district office to try to stay current. And I think that's a good